If you want to go to Walt Disney World, Universal, or any other theme park these days, you have to wear a face mask. So what is the best face covering to wear all day in the Florida heat? Well, today we're going to find out. Let's hop into it. Hello and welcome to the Park Hop. My name's Jacob. Thanks for liking and subscribing. You know, coronavirus has been a serious bummer, but with Walt Disney World, Universal, and other Florida theme parks opening back up, life is beginning to get a bit more normal. That is, if your normal is walking around Central Florida with your nose and mouth covered up. That's right, face coverings are currently required if you would like to go to Walt Disney World or any of the other area attractions. In Disney's case, that's for anyone older than the age of 2. Now, wearing a surgical mask into the grocery store or over to the post office probably isn't that big of a deal for you, but most Orlando summer days hit 90 degrees or above, meaning wearing a face mask can be brutal. So, if you're going to go, what is the best face mask that you can wear? Now, just to clarify, what we're not going to be talking about today is what kind of mask serves as the most effective covering for your face as it pertains to the spread of disease. That data can be confusing, and it also depends on who you're trying to protect. Is it the wearer, or is it those around the wearer? We're going to let a more scientific show weigh in on that issue. No, instead, we're going to be focusing on the most comfortable or even the most tolerable kind of mask that you can wear when you go to the parks for a day. And to find out what that is, my family and I wore 4 different kind of masks on a very hot day at Disney Springs. We're going to take a look at those 4, plus another one we didn't use, and we'll tell you why. Number 1. Disposable surgical masks.
Now this is your standard surgical mask. If you don't have one, this is what they're going to give you when you come in. It's a disposable fabric with a small bit of wire on the inside, and you squeeze that around your nose to give it a tighter fit. Now, as you can see, when I breathe in and out, it's going in and out with it, which means it actually does a pretty good job of sealing around your face. That's both good and bad. It means you have a whole lot of hot air inside of the mask. It makes it a little tough to breathe, and it also means that what air does get out often comes out around your nose and fogs up your glasses. The good thing is it's cheap, and even in this case it's free. But the downsides are that it's not the easiest to breathe in, especially if you're moving around a lot, and especially on a day like today when it's 96 degrees.
Surgical masks are made from a non-woven thermoplastic fabric. They're intended to be used once and then thrown away. And because they're considered disposable, you're going to need to make sure you have a new one each day. This shouldn't be a problem, as some of the theme parks are handing them out to individuals who don't have a face covering before they're allowed to enter into the parks.
And also, this might sound crazy, but I think I can smell my breath more in this one. That's just not a positive thing to do.
Another downside to surgical masks is that they do retain moisture from your breath and sweat from your face. This can make wearing one for a long period of time really uncomfortable as they get wet over the course of the day.
And then finally, as is true with any mask with elastic, after a while, you're going to get sick of having this behind your ears.
So, the surgical mask's greatest positive is its availability and its cheap price, while the downsides include moisture retention and a bit of an ear pinch. They're also going to allow a bit of fog to form on your glasses, particularly when you're indoors. Number 2. Cloth masks.
Now this is a cotton mask. This is what a lot of the homemade masks are made out of. This is what a lot of the masks that you'll buy at a grocery store, maybe your Walmart, Publix, something like that. It's what a lot of them are made out of. This one is actually a triple layer mask. It's supposed to be extra good for keeping your breath from getting out. Now that means a couple of things. Number 1, there's a lot of popping in and out. I don't know if you can see that or not. But the second thing is that it is super hot on my face. And compared to the surgical mask, it's way more brutal. And with any of these masks that are held tightly to your face, they're going to build up moisture from your breath. So even though it might be one of the more efficient kinds of masks, especially a triple layer mask like this, it can actually be one of the most brutal to wear because it just creates a lot of sweat around your mouth, and it builds up a lot of moisture on the inside, which just isn't very comfortable after a long day of 85, 90, 95 degree weather.
Now there are a lot of different kind of fabric masks. The one you saw me wearing there was 3 very thick layers of cotton. This one here I bought at a grocery store, and it has polyester on one side and 2 cotton layers on the other side, and it has a spot for a filter to be placed inside. The themed masks that you're going to find on shopdisney.com are 1 layer of polyester and 2 layers of cotton. Each mask is going to be a little bit different, but generally, here are some of the pros and cons. Fabric masks tend to be cheap. Inexpensive ones can be bought for around $3, and they're also reusable, though you're going to need to wash them between each use. The downsides are similar to the surgical mask in that they tend to retain even more moisture, and that can be pretty uncomfortable. If you have a tight fit, they can make breathing pretty difficult, and if your fabric mask has elastic that goes around your ears, that's also going to cause them to be a bit of a pain over the course of an entire day. Number 3. Bandanas.
Now this option is the bandana. It gives you the opportunity to look like you're going to rob a bank in the Wild Wild West, and also you can choose something that looks suitable to your fashion style. Now, one of the things that's nice about this one is there's nothing going over top of your ears, so you don't feel like your ears are being pulled off like crazy. One of the downsides is once you tie the knot, it's a fixed length, so it can slide up and down. It's not super stable, and it actually pushes on your nose quite a bit, but it might be the right choice for you.
Bandanas tend to be made of cotton and can be bought really inexpensively. You can fold a bandana over to create multiple layers of protection, which makes it pretty versatile. And since it's tied on, it can fit an adult or it can fit a child. Another nice thing about the bandana is that air can get in and out through the bottom, which makes it easier to breathe. Tying it tight enough to stay up means that you're probably going to squash your nose a little bit, and even when it is tight, it does tend to slide around a fair amount in the back. Number 4. Neck gaiters.
This is a neck gaiter or a buff. It's made of polyester and spandex. It's very stretchy. It's also very lightweight and moisture wicking. So that means there are some downsides and some good sides about it. The downside is it does go all the way around your face. It's basically a cylinder. Now, the bad thing about that is, yeah, you're covering up more of your neck, you're covering up more of your head. It can get hot in some ways, but the positives might outweigh that. Number 1, it's very lightweight, it's very breathable, so a lot of your breath isn't going up into your sunglasses or your glasses. If you, like me, you have to wear prescription sunglasses. The other thing is, you don't have as much of that heat from your own breath trapped inside the mask because it's going down towards your neck. And so it's not acting the same way as some of those other masks that are a little bit more restrictive. Now, one of the best things about it, I think, is that, yeah, it goes all the way around your face, and that can get hot. But one of the great things about it is that you can take it into the bathroom. You can run it under cold water, put it back on, and it actually will cool your neck and your face while also keeping your breath from going out into the air around others who are enjoying the parks around you. And it'll then dry off, but as it's drying, it's actually continuing to cool you. So it's moisture wicking, but it's also going to hold some of that moisture long enough to actually cool your face and your neck, which makes this a great option.
Neck gaiters are a one-size-fits-all option that's by far the most breathable of the choices that we've reviewed so far. You can find them at sporting goods stores or Amazon or even fishing outfitters, as they're meant for sun protection for water-based activities.
Another great thing about the gaiter is that because it is a cylinder, you can put it in different orientations. You can cover up your ears. Hey, if you're bald, you can even cover up your entire head with it and still be compliant with the rules that the parks are setting out. So I like to have it down here. I think I get less glasses fogging that way, but you can do it any which way you like.
The neck gaiter, or buff, is a great choice, as we've already said, because of its breathability. It also offers sun protection to the back of your neck and can be worn in various configurations. Because it's a wicking fabric, you can soak it in cold water and it will quickly dry while cooling you off. The only real downside is the amount of your head that it covers, which seems like it would be hot, but the sun on your neck is likely hotter by itself, so it ends up not really being much of a negative. Number 5. N95 respirators. Now, after having tested the 4 previous types of masks on a 96-degree day, I cannot imagine wearing one type of mask I saw other people wearing, and that's the N95 respirator. As you may have heard over the last several months, N95 masks are primarily used these days by healthcare professionals, as they're the only common mask that can significantly decrease the wearer's exposure to airborne viruses. The problem, however, is their snug fit and their thickness. N95s can actually be dangerous to wear over a long period of time, as your breathing is more labored and your heart rate is going to increase. In fact, it can even lead to someone passing out entirely. Here's a news story of a New Jersey woman who passed out from wearing an N95 mask while driving, leading her to crash her car into an electric pole. To alleviate this issue, some N95 masks have exhaust valves on the front or the sides. Now, this seems like it would be helpful, but it can actually create an issue for those around you if you happen to be ill and you don't know it. While all of the previous masks we've mentioned restrict the projection of your breath and any viruses into the air around you, masks with exhaust valves actually release that breath and potential viruses into the air. Not only that, they direct it in a more concentrated way than your regular breathing, meaning it would actually be better for those around you if you wore no mask at all. Now, since the premise of these masks is mostly to protect those around the wearer, this completely defeats the purpose. So, N95s are good at protecting the wearer from airborne viruses. They are, however, hot, make it difficult to breathe, and can actually lead to you passing out. If they have valves, you could be aiming your breath directly at somebody, and that's not good either. Now, everyone is different, and you might have a different preference than I would, but far and away, my entire family's favorite face covering was the neck gaiter. It was more comfortable, it was easier to breathe in, it didn't tug at our ears, it kept our necks from getting sunburned, and it dries quickly after you wash it. Plus, it can be bought or made in any number of colors and patterns.
But one important thing to know, as long as you have drink or food in your hand, you don't have to wear the mask. So, if you're looking for a way out, it's gonna be expensive, but you can do it. Brain freeze. Ah.
I got one too.
Oh, brain freeze.
If you do go with a different kind of mask, however, I would encourage you to find one with a cloth-like or otherwise soft ear loop like this one. And it even has an adjustable ear loop, which is another plus. You are going to get sick of having tight elastic pulling on your ears for an entire day, so save yourself the trouble. For small children, the surgical mask is actually a pretty good option. It tends to be looser on their face, so it doesn't get as hot, and it's not going to pull on their ears as much as it might a grown man or a grown woman. But regardless of which face covering you choose, and regardless of whether or not you think you should have to wear one, remember, you're going to the parks to have fun. Don't let much of that fun be ruined by causing yourself to be more uncomfortable than you have to be. Try some of these options out before you go, and find out which one is right for you. It might be that the best mask for you wasn't even in this video, which leads me to our question of the day. And that is, if you had to wear a face covering all day in the hot sun, which kind would you choose and why? Be sure to put your answer in the comments down below, as it could help somebody else who doesn't really like any of these options. I mean, I've been bummed ever since they told me I couldn't wear my 2-liter soda bottle face shield. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification icon. And if you have a great tip on how to wear a face mask all day in the Florida sun without falling over with heat stroke, be sure to let us know. Until next time, my name's Jacob, reminding you to gather your belongings, watch your head and step, and take all small children by the hand.